Welcome to Learning the Hebrew Alef-Bet tutorial number 10, and in this tutorial we're going to learn two new letters and one more vowel mark. So we're in tutorial 10, and we're going to be learning the chet, the he, and the segul vowel mark. So you notice that these two letters, first of all, they look similar to one another, but they also look similar to the tav, which is what we've already learned. The first one here is the chet, and this is going to get, this is one of the guttural letters in Hebrew, so it's kind of, typically you'll see it denoted with the CH. It comes off the back of your throat whenever you see it. It's like you're kind of gargling in a sense. The next letter is the he, and the equivalent to this in English is going to be the H. The vowel mark we're going to be learning is these three dots that appear beneath a letter, and they're going to get the kind of like the soft E, like like in pet, this is also called a segul, and although we haven't really remembering the names, you'll hear me using them, but just so you know that this is called a segul. The chet and the he, like I said, are very similar. They're rather easy, I guess, to write in the block script. Basically, for the he, we want to start off like we're making a resh. In the he, we want to draw a vertical line, but it doesn't touch all the way at the top, and that's very important that it doesn't touch on the left-hand side. The chet is going to be same, draw like you're drawing a resh, and then your vertical line does need to touch all the way, needs to connect on the left hand side. So maybe practice these until you get them down pat. There's the he, that's a little bit narrow, but, and here's the chet. He one more time, and then the chet. In the block script, I'm sorry, the handwriting script, they look pretty identical to the block script, and depending on how you want to write these, you can write these two ways. You saw me earlier how I was writing the tav, starting on the right and then coming down like that. You could do that for the he that way. I'm sorry, that's not the he. The he is actually you got the inner line here. If you think of these as like resh, it's gonna have a kind of a smaller one inside. Yeah, and that's what the he looks like in the handwriting script, similar to that. The chet you can do like you're doing the top and just bring it straight down. Or if you want to start on the left hand side like that, which is probably a little bit quicker for us in English, you could write a he. It's really more of a, you'd probably see it more like that, he. And then the chet, something like that, he, and then your chet. That was a bad one there, but and remember that just like the yud, the vav, the final noon, the chet. Let's do the tav first, since we learned it first. The tav with the toe, the chet like that, and the he are very similar in appearance. So be sure to memorize them so you know how to distinguish them when you see them. If we go over and we work with our vowel marks, ha, if we wanted to write the equivalent to this, you just have a he and a patah down below. That's a pretty bad one there, but sometimes you might see it. Well, I'll do it in the next one. I'll clarify what I was going to say in the next one. But for ha, where kind of like a horseshoe, and then we put a kamatz down below. You might, if you want to write the he like this in your handwriting script, it's fine. People will know what you're talking about. And then for he, we put seri down below. But technically, I think the correct version is kind of like this. And if we wanted to do ho, we put the cholam vav next to it. Ho again. This time it's going to be chet. Let me do that. I meant to make that a little bit bigger for you. Chet, and then the cholam vav. Hu would be the chet, and then the u vowel mark, and then hu would be the he, and then the u vowel mark. And I don't know why I didn't use the sagol, the new vowel mark in any of this, but we're gonna see it in these words we're gonna learn here. Exercise 5 is some words, female and male words in Hebrew, and Hebrew does have gender. So this first one, chavara, is gonna be chet, pata, vet, harde, seri, ve, resh. I'm going to put a pata down below, but here, this is one of those words, like I said, it's going to end with a consonant. It's going to end with the he. The he is silent in this context, just like a silent H. And that it's the word, the chavara in Hebrew is a friend, it's a female friend. And a lot of times you could use that for like intimacy, like a girlfriend, so to speak. Chaver is the male version, and you're going to have a chet. We'll stick with the pata, the vet, another, what do we use in the pata again? Oh, I'm sorry, that was a seri. Seri, and then we're going to end it with just the resh and chaver. And that's going to be friend, a masculine friend, or maybe a boyfriend. Now, the biggest thing to point out at this point is you're going to notice this a lot, that the root word will always be the masculine, the masculine version. Well, I should take that back. That's not always the case, but the masculine version in this case will typically have the root word. To make it feminine, a lot of times it's just a matter of adding the he to the end. It's either going to be a he or a tav, like a ot ending. You'll see it in the next one. Well, some of the next ones we're looking at. We'll see it here again. The same thing's going to happen in yalda. Yalda is going to start with a yud. We're going to pata down below. A lamed. We're going to silent shva. Dalet. And then I'm just going to use a pata and then the he again. Yalda means like girl, like a little girl. And so it's feminine, of course, and it's the root word is yeled, or the male version is yeled, which will be the yud again. Here we're going to use a sigol, so the letters, the consonants stay the same, but the vowels change. And then we're going to use alamed, sigol, and then dale, yeled, and the female version is yalda. So this would be like a little boy, child. I guess it doesn't necessarily have to always be like little, like a little boy or a little girl, but when you're talking, well, you would think of that if you're going to say man or woman, you use aish and aisha, or aish and aisha, however you want to say that. Going down to exercise 6 is ohevet, and this is a verb. We'll start out with an alef, and we're going to have the O vowel mark, the O. We'll have a he, sago, vet, sago, and then the tav. And that would be loves or likes. I'm just going to put loves, but really it's more to like something. Like she likes, so that would be the feminine form. So we see that tav in this context making that verb feminine. The masculine version is the next one, which is just ohev, and we'll have an alef, an o vowel mark, he, sago, and then it will just end with the vet, and that would be the same as this one, but it'd be masculine. He likes. Ohev, he likes. Ohevet, she likes. Choshevet would be, we're going to use a Chet, O vowel mark, a sheen, um, the sigol, vet, sigol, and then we're going to end that with the tav. And choshere. And this would be thinks. But it's the feminine, it's a female version. Or what would that be? Third person female, singular, she thinks, choshevet. And it comes from the masculine version is going to be choshev. Vav, shin, sigil, and then tav. Oh, I'm sorry. Vet. And that is thinks with respect to the masculine. He thinks, she thinks. Choshev and choshevet. So what I'm trying to do is introduce you to some words as we go along. All along, all we've really been worried about is just spelling, writing, phonetically getting these words correct. Not necessarily even remembering the words, but you can remember them along the way. But now we're starting to introduce suffixes and prefixes that change the meaning of the word. Well, that's what we have here with respect to the gender, both in nouns. A lot of times the female version of a noun will end with a he, or we'll also see it end with a ot or a tav. Ot meaning the o vowel mark, and then a tav, or just the tav itself. And that will change for some. There are some irregular words, so that will not always be the case. But here in the verbs that we're looking at here, it's the same. The female, the third person female, singular, will end with a tav, and then the so the root word is ohev, in other words, and that's the masculine version. To make it feminine, we just add the tav to the end, ohevet. So you're going to see that a lot in Hebrew, and in this case it just changes the gender of the word. In other cases, these endings will actually change the meaning behind the word to some degree. So we'll learn more as we go along. I just want to introduce that in this one. So that is the chet, the he, and vowel mark segol, and we will pick up in the next tutorial.